The lights ran vertically as well as horizontally, and it seemed as if the colored lights ran horizontally around a bright white globe-like object, but you could put your hand in it if you'd been close to it. It's the way you felt, because you could see into it. And what I saw was inside of it, and sometimes it looked like a black hole, and other times it looked like a great big piece of aluminum or something of some sort. I mean, it was so reflective. And then through the binoculars, we could see it had these little jagged things coming off the top and the bottom.
They were white or clear or?
They were more white. And this thing, it gave off like a pulsating yellow and white light. But it was absolutely, totally silent. And anything around here that we see coming in from a half a mile away, you can hear, because the voices of people coming in on boats and noises coming reflect on the water. And we could hear nothing, absolutely nothing. It was like a huge gyroscope is the way it looked.
All this stuff was spinning around some kind of a center sphere.
Right, around some kind of a center. And then describing where it was in relationship to us, I would say it would be about not even a block down the street, and then straight up over the water, which would have been facing a little bit northwest. We kept looking at the thing, and it would go out, like it just disappear, and then it would come back. It would slip up, and then it would slip down, and it would dead out to the right. And that Eddie, my husband, one time ran to the backyard to see if it was going in that direction. It looked like it went to the right and disappeared, and he ran to the backyard, and it wasn't there, and then all of a sudden we saw it just, like, come back up again, just out of nowhere.
Size?
Maybe 18 or 20 feet tall, and across, so a diameter of something that was that size, more like 20 by 20. It had just a slight indentation on the top and on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
It was different from what we had seen, like, back in March, but similar in many ways.
In March, which would be 2 months before, what happened?
In March, it was on March the 27th. I remember it vividly because I came down and we had, my husband and I, we are in a two-story house, and our bedroom is downstairs, but it's an interesting house. You have to go outdoors to get downstairs. It's a screened area outside, a pool, and so you go out of the upstairs to come down. So we watched television upstairs, and at 10 o'clock, we turned the TV off and started down, and it was pouring cats and dogs, raining, and here we are having to go out to come down. So we stopped at the top of the steps under the porch overhang, and we were just watching the rain when all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this big, humongous white globe-like ball of light just dropped down out of the sky and hovered. And this one was even closer than the other one. And it hovered. The first night it had been raining, and we had gusts of wind up to 45 miles an hour, and the object didn't budge. There was no sound. There was no noise. It was about 150 feet over Johnson's Bay, which is towards the back of our house. And then the next night, we still had the weather conditions similar, although the rains had stopped and the winds were still hard, but not much more than 20-mile-an-hour winds. We watched for about 20 minutes, and then it just kind of jotted off to the right, did this little gyration of movement, and it dipped down, and it looked like it was just going to go down into the water, and it just disappeared. Then the third night, the weather had cleared, and the moon was beautiful. It was coming up in the east, and then this object also appeared about the same time again that night. So it was coming in sometime after 10, and it would stay 20, 30 minutes and just hover and do some kind of little crazy motion movements. Sometimes it would back up. Sometimes it would come forward just slightly. One time it looked like it shot up, and the other time it looked like it just shot down, and then it would come back.
When it shot down, was it shooting straight down into water?
It looked like it. Like it just went straight down into the water out of nowhere. But the strangest thing about the whole thing is the next morning I got a call from a fire station. There is a grove of mangroves between us, so we can't actually see the station from our house. But we had just gotten a webcam for our fire station, a weather camera, and I run just a voluntary email service where I notify everybody on the island when we have meetings or if there's a hurricane warning or whatever. The chief will give me the information, then I'll get it out to our people. And the next morning, the chief called me. He said, "Ann, did you see anything strange last night?" And I said, Yeah, we did. Did you see it? And he says, yeah, and a lot of our fire crew saw it, and so did some of the people in the restaurant that are on the other side of the fire station. And he said, I looked on our webcam because we had it facing in that direction, and it picked up something really weird. It definitely was a humongous, white, bright, breathtaking object. There was nothing that we knew of that could fly like that and just hover and not move and not make a sound.